Revenge films.
2 years ago, I quit my job and moved with my husband to his parents' home in the countryside. My husband's parents own a farm. As they got old, my husband decided to quit his job to take care of them and the farm. That's why we moved in with his parents. My husband and father-in-law were very kind to me before we moved in, and they didn't change afterwards. My mother-in-law was the only one who had a completely different attitude towards me. As soon as I moved in, she started to say things like, "My son is the eldest, so you'll take care of me when I'm old, right? Also, I expect a healthy grandson soon." She started to force me to do more housework, so I was busy working around the house and exhausted every day. During that time, I became pregnant. My mother-in-law suddenly became upset when she found out that I was going to have a baby girl. She said, "I've told you so many times, you have to have a boy. Go get an abortion now." I was furious at what she said and replied, "It's a life. I won't get an abortion no matter what you think. Who do you think you're talking to?" I just ignored her. After that, she started picking on every little thing and complained more about me. I was afraid my baby would be the next target if I continued to go against my mother-in-law, so I obeyed and stopped talking back. Usually, my mother-in-law sleeps until noon, but she woke up early in the morning one day. "Kendra, let's go to church to pray for the baby." "Oh, now? Is there a problem?" "The news said there's a record-breaking heat wave today. It's going to be dangerous for you to go out too. Can we go on another day?" "Why are you treating me like I'm old? I just want to pray for your safe delivery. Don't worry, I'll drive." She's been asking me to clean high places and organize the storage at home in hopes that I'd have a miscarriage. So, I couldn't help but wondering what her intentions were this time. But there was no arguing with her. Maybe she changed her mind since my estimated due date was near. So I got in the car without any further questions. We were driving on the mountain's roads before we reached a small road that was too narrow for the car. She said, "Go straight down this road and you'll see the church." Then she stopped the car at a small road and said, "I'll park the car at the parking lot down there. You can get off here and wait for me." After I got off the car, she said, "Oh, I just remembered. I have something to do." And she turned the car and drove away. What? Is she serious? Damn it, her plan was to leave me here in the middle of a heat wave. I didn't expect she'd go this far. In despair, I decided to head to the church. I heard it's a famous local church. There must be someone who can help me find a way home if I tell him about my situation. I walked down a small narrow road and saw a small run-down church amidst the tall grass. She lied about the church too. There was no sign of anyone coming in this direction. My mother-in-law was also nowhere to be found. I didn't have any water with me. I became dizzy because of the heat and my heavy pregnant belly. I was sweating like crazy trying to move forward step by step. All I could think of was, I might die here if I didn't make it home somehow. However, I lost consciousness right after I came out of the forest. I woke up in the hospital and saw my husband crying beside me. Then I felt something was wrong with my stomach.
"The baby is gone."
Maybe I was still under anesthesia. My head was in a daze.
"My mum said you got lost in the woods on your way to the church. Why did you have to go to the church on such a hot day?"
What? Then I heard my in-laws talking somewhere behind my husband. "I shouldn't have indulged in her selfishness and driven her out. I wish I could have found her sooner. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." My mother-in-law pretended to cry as she spoke. I wanted to yell, "That's not true!" But then I touched my flat belly and realized, nothing I say will bring back my baby. At that moment, I started crying profusely and couldn't say a word. After I left the hospital, I had no appetite and couldn't think about anything. I also had no strength to tell the truth. My husband and father-in-law were worried about me while my mother-in-law was excited and lively. "Pregnant women can be unstable. so she might suddenly say something strange. We should leave her alone. She made it sound like she had no bad intentions, but was only concerned for me. After I heard their conversation, I decided to take revenge on my mother-in-law, even though it ended in divorce. The following morning, after I sent my husband and father-in-law off, I wrapped my mother-in-law with duct tape. She usually never wakes up until the late afternoon, no matter how loud I am, but she seemed to sense something strange this time, so she woke up. What's this? I'm practicing for the next time I have a baby. I'll tell my son and husband. Please, go ahead. They already agreed on everything. What are you talking about? I lied about them agreeing to what I was doing. I called my husband at work and made a declaration about my revenge. My husband was panicking over the phone and said,
I'll be home soon. Just calm down.
I said to my mother-in-law, Look, I made some delicious baby food. Open your mouth and let me feed you some. Then I took a spoonful of freshly made hot porridge and poured it down her throat. Oh, it's hot. It burns. She struggled like a caterpillar and spat out the porridge. Oh, what's the matter? You can't grow if you're a picky eater. I scooped more porridge into her mouth and she kept struggling while spitting out the porridge. In the end, she was covered in porridge. Oh no, you got it all over yourself. Mommy will give you a bath now. I dragged my caterpillar-like mother-in-law to the bathroom and threw her in the tub. Oh, so hot. Let me out. Of course, I made sure the water temperature was hot enough to make her suffer, but not enough to leave her a burn. The water level was low enough to keep her from drowning, but the fear of being tied up made her struggle with her eyes wide open. I pushed her shoulders down and said, Did you know? Your older sister experienced this kind of heat inside my belly too. Your grandma will probably do the same thing again if she finds out you're a girl. So let's get used to the heat so you won't be surprised, okay? Somebody help me! It's so hot! So, what do you think? Nobody can get used to this, don't you think? As I said that, I fell to my knees and started crying. When my husband and father-in-law came home and heard her screams, they came up running to the bathroom.
What are you doing?
My husband and father-in-law dragged her out of the tub. I watched coldly as they removed the duct tape on her. This woman is crazy! She tried to kill me! I just wanted you to experience how hot and painful the baby was that day inside my belly. Stop! You're exaggerating! It was just a baby! You should have died in the woods too! Was it why you left me in the woods under the scorching sun? My mother-in-law was so angry and wouldn't stop talking. What? It was just a small punishment for you. It wasn't my fault your baby was not strong enough to survive. Aren't you glad I saved you the trouble of getting rid of it? After hearing this, my husband slapped my mother-in-law and asked,
What the hell did you do?
I stared at the floor and told them everything that happened that day calmly. My husband slapped my mother-in-law again after hearing what I said.
Get out!
He shouted at her angrily while crying. I was just joking. You're not kicking me out because of this, are you?
You already took a life! What do you mean by just joking? Stop bullshitting me and get out now! I wish you were gone instead of the baby!
My mother-in-law was shocked by what my husband said, but my father-in-law seemed to agree with him. After learning the truth, my father-in-law divorced my mother-in-law. Not only did she not get any property or money, but she also got kicked out of her house pennilessly. I was prepared for a divorce before I carried out my revenge, but to my surprise, my husband and father-in-law apologized and told me they'd make it up to me for the rest of their lives if I wanted to stay married. So we decided to start over. I couldn't bring back my baby even though I had my revenge, but after my mother-in-law got the punishment she deserved, I wanted to look forward and live a happy life for the baby. I was grateful that my husband and father-in-law believed in me after seeing my reckless revenge.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.